Boom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You know where you are. I would hope by this time. You know who I am. If you don't, you're just as crazy as I thought you were. So, good afternoon, good people. I know. I was supposed to be on at 4. I was going to pop up and do this thing, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But I'm here now. Yellow finished up, so I, just left over there. So, I don't know if you were still there when we finished up or not, but got a few things for us today. Gotta remember where that is. Where's 8? Where's 8? Custom layout 8. Okay, cool. I don't know what yellow made that for, but I just messed it up. Listen, yesterday I played a video towards the end of my stream, and I wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit more. I had a stream planned a long time ago, but I never did it. But it came back up with that clip I played yesterday from the TikTok lady who was overwhelmed. I'm going to play it again today. I had a longer entry point video from Dr. John Deloney. I think I'm going to forego that, but it's similar. It's just a guy talking about him being overwhelmed in life and not making decisions, pulling the trigger. But I know a lot of people have struggles with that. I know I do. Not everybody does. Some people are hyper focused, hyper like disciplined. They don't have any issues pulling the trigger and getting stuff done. I'm not that way. And some people that are, I guess, on a spectrum, some people are worse than me. I have it with certain types of tasks. Some people, I guess, have it with every task. So what's up, Bree? I'm going to play the video again today. And then we're going to go into some other videos, which I have had stashed away. And we're going to talk about it. If Bree comes up, we'll chit chat more than the videos. Mostly, we may talk about a couple of them. If it's just me, that's cool. I have multiple videos because what I do have is 2 videos that kind of describe the problem that a lot of people have, not everybody. So if it's not you, let it do what it do. But if it is you, I have 3 different ways to think about a solution. I guess in counseling or therapy, there's effective, there's cognitive, and I think I don't know what they do for the physical, maybe behavioral. That might be it. But they're like through the body, through the emotions, and through the thought processes. So I have kind of like 3 solutions to the problem that I'm going to play if I'm up here by myself. Bravo with Sheila Network. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you today. And Godless Sewing. Hello. So what I want to talk about, I played a little clip of a video yesterday where a lady was overwhelmed. I want to play that here in just a second. The Lord told me you were live. He wouldn't tell me what you were talking about. Listen, this came from Yellows. We were having a good conversation. He was reacting to this lady. We call her the kingdom wife because she has a kingdom husband somewhere in the world, and God won't tell her exactly who he is or where he is. And she keeps getting signs, and she keeps chasing him around like Carmen Sandiego, and she never finds him. And God's very vague and cryptic and elusive with any answers. And today she was blocking friends because they told her the truth. And her children are sad because they no longer have these people in their life. It's just people are strange. We're very strange creatures. Hey, chat that is here now, and hi to whoever in here in the future. That's what's up. Blessings to those in the past, present, and the future. So I'm going to play that clip of the overwhelmed lady really quickly, and then I'm going to get into something I discovered a while back. I don't even know if they go into a technical term, but they called it the wall of awful. I mean, that's a perfectly fine phrase for me because, man, that's how it feels. But it's when you have a hard time completing tasks, pulling the trigger and getting stuff done. You have a hard time following through. Then the emotional barriers and obstacles that start to build up and pile up in your mind that even further impedes you on taking steps to move forward.
Why?
Because I'm trying to clean the kitchen because it's a disaster. Cleaning, I realize I'm hungry, so I'm gonna make me some carrot juice. Well,
are you guys hearing audio?
But I can't make my carrot juice because I have no classes that are clean. Well, I'm gonna load these in the dishwasher, but when I go to unload the dishwasher, it's clean and full, so now I have to unload it. But then I notice some new clothes that we got for Ember that haven't been put away. So then I go to put them away. Then I realize her room's a disaster. So then I start to clean up some clothes and put them away. In the closet, I realize, oh yeah, their tennis shoes are destroyed and I need to buy new tennis shoes for school that starts on Tuesday. So then I come to the kitchen and I need to make a list. But wait, I have no pen. So then I'm just gonna put it in my phone so that I don't forget it. Oh wait, when I open my phone, I get an email from my management company about a partnership I gotta do. Well, in order to record a partnership, I gotta put eyelashes on because I don't wanna look like a naked mole rat. But wait, I wanna shower and I can't shower and get my eyelashes wet, so I gotta shower first. But I can't shower first because I wanna dye my hair.
Babe.
And I can't dye my hair after the shower because then I'm taking 2 showers, one after another.
Hey, how about this? How about I make your carrot juice, you go take a nap.
I can't take a nap. The bed is a disaster. There's clothes on it that need to be put away and folded.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Oh man, I love the way he giggled. That's messed up, but she was going through it. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. Let me see. Let's see what he said. Da, 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 da. Did the Lord tell you? The Lord be moving in people's lives. He be telling people all kinds of stuff. Yellow redeems. Waffles. Yeah, y'all hear? Boom, boom. Sorry, got a message. I stopped listening at the first and then. Now listen, here's the issue. A lot of people did mention that she might have ADHD. She could, I don't know. They didn't put that in the post that she has ADHD. I know a few people mentioned in the chat, and somebody reached out to me afterwards, and they all talked about their experience with ADHD being very similar to that. Bree also, at some point in the past, talked to me about something she termed, and I know it's out there, but executive functioning. Some people have a lower level of executive functioning, the ability to execute and function. So those, some people have a harder time with that, to make their body do what their brain knows they should be doing. I believe sometimes people have emotional barriers. Sometimes people might have chemical barriers here. So we're going to talk about some of those that I can talk about. I can't talk about the chemical. I'm not a doctor. I can't check anybody's levels of anything, check anybody's neurotransmitter. I can't do any of that. So there are things that I do because I'm very different. I have certain tasks that I just cannot engage in. I just can't make myself do them when I'm supposed to do them. But it's not like pervasive through every area of my life. But some people, I guess, are debilitated by being unable to take action on what to the most of us seem like very routine and normal everyday tasks. Always displaying high dysfunction. Yeah. So I'm going to get into the first video. Let me see if I should. I don't know if I should. Let me just download it real quick. It shouldn't take long to download, but let me see. I've gotten away from trying to play the videos from YouTube because they always seem to lag something with me and StreamYard. So let me pull that in because again, it's already downloaded. See, my internet speed is fine. I can get stuff downloaded like that, but trying to stream, oh no. No.
Who here has had a really hard time with something that should be really easy? Yeah, apparently there's a reason for that. I met Brendan Mahan at the International Conference on ADHD last year, and he had the best explanation for why simple things can be so difficult that I have ever heard. And it's a metaphor. I really like metaphors. He explained it like this. When we do a simple task, like, say, make a phone call, we're not just dealing with that task. We're also dealing with the wall of awful in front of it. We can't see this wall because it's not a physical barrier. It's an emotional one, but it's just as real and it's just as in our way. How does this wall of awful get built? According to Brendan, failure. Every time we fail at a task, we get a failure brick. And with that failure brick comes the disappointment brick. But we don't usually only disappoint ourselves when we fail. We disappoint others around us too. So for everyone we disappoint, or even think we've disappointed, we get an extra disappointment brick. If that disappointment results in rejection, we get a rejection brick. If we're worried that disappointment will result in rejection, we get a rejection brick. And a worry brick. Eventually, all these different bricks pile up to become a significant emotional barrier to doing that task again. A wall of awful. Everyone has a wall of awful. In fact, we all have a bunch of them. But those of us...
Oh, that's why you redeemed waffles. You thought I said, I have a mush mouth. I do not enunciate very well. So no, awful, not waffle. Yeah, sorry. My bad. That's on me. That's on me. That's on me. But I'm sure a few of y'all already have experienced that. Not everybody has that emotional barrier where you start compounding negative emotions to the point where it keeps you from completing tasks. Everybody doesn't suffer from that. But I know I do. In some regards, I know I do.
With ADHD tend to have extra, and they also tend to be bigger, kind of like the one I have around this past due parking ticket.
And see, when she brought up the ADHD too, so that's cool. It's been like months since I actually prepared this, so I haven't watched the videos in a while. Now I need to get back to it anyway, because again, I do have this issue, but not to like the degree she's talking about with the ADHD. The lady in the video, it's not to that level, but I do have things that I struggle with. So this is something I need to review, even if it's not you. Appreciate you for stopping in and watching.
Thankfully, Brendan's here to tell us what to do about these walls. Hi, what do I do about this wall?
That's a big wall.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. It took me a long time to build.
Okay, so we need to get to the other side of it to do the thing.
Or I could just not do it.
No, doing it is a good plan. So there are 5 ways people try to get past the wall of awful. 2 don't work. 3 of them work, but one of those is totally unhealthy and not a good plan. The 2 that don't work are staring at it, sort of like we're doing right now, and going around it. So staring at it doesn't engage in the wall in any way, and it's not useful. Going around it, it's just not possible.
Why can't I go around the wall?
Because it's a metaphor, and it's infinitely wide. I know, because I made it up. The first way that works to get us past the wall is we can turn green, we can get some purple pants, we can get really mad, and we can Hulk smash our way through this wall. But that also means we have to get really angry. And that anger damages our relationship. Because we might turn to our friend and be like, fine, I'll do the dishes. God, just shut up about it. And now I'm hurting that relationship. I mean, I got past my wall of awful for the dishes, but it's not healthy. The other option is to Hulk smash inwardly, which is when we start thinking about how much we suck and wondering, why can't I just do this? What's wrong with me? That kind of stuff. That self-flagellation eventually gives us the energy to push through the wall. But that damages our self-esteem. It's hurting our relationship with our...
And see, that one's me. I don't lash out at people. Like I was talking the other day about me and anger. Even if I feel anger, I don't act out on it. I have the thoughts, I have the feelings, but I don't do anything. I don't punch anything. I don't yell. I'm not that person. I turn it all inward. So I'm the inward directed, awful wall.
You prefer the submersible method.
Yeah, I go down and implode.
You like to stop and rush it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
But for some stuff, I will shame myself long enough that I will like get to in motion. Like there's no excuse for this, man. Get up and da 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 da. Like eventually, sometimes I can get to such a place of negative emotion that I can't bear continuing to punch at myself. That it will promote, like they said, I'll punch myself into motion. So I mean, it does work sometimes for some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Like somebody, the stick works. Sticks do work.
I don't think you can punch yourself into motion.
You can. They just said it. I said I do it.
Oh, okay. I'm just looking at this very visually. That's all. Just thinking about punching myself.
Well, I mean, no, you're going very literal. You can talk about yourself into such point that you get disgusted into action. Is the way I would probably phrase it. You can get disgusted with yourself until, like what they say, I get sick and tired of being sick and tired. You can get so sick and tired of being in that state of awfulness or down or flakiness or whatever, wallowing. You can get so sick of it that it prompts you to action. So I think you can get disgusted with the place that you're in and get in a movement or get emotion.
Got it.
Jill.
Yourself. So Hulk smash is not a good plan. By the way, Hulk smash, going around and staring at it, is the body's stress response. It's fight, flight, and freeze.
Oh.
So those are sort of our least skilled approaches to the wall of...
An old girl froze. Old girl in the video, in the TikTok.
Yeah.
She froze.
Instead of staring, she just cried it. She just cried at it. That was her version of freeze. I'm just gonna stand in front of the wall and cry.
Yeah. And that's important to know when we're listening to stuff like this. People will say stuff like your stress response, fight, flight, and freeze. It's not literal. You don't literally fight. You don't literally flight. You don't literally freeze. Everybody has their own interpretations of these principles. So fighting for one person may be words. Fighting for some person may be a lot of physical agitation. Fighting for another person might actually be fighting. Flight may be running for one person. Some flight for one person may be mentally checking out. They may be present, but they'll just be distant. They'll check out, they'll zone out. Freezing could also be zoning out. So, I mean, it all depends. Everybody's different. All of our responses are tuned to us and our experiences. So when people use these vague terms and we think we understand them, we don't know them for you. You have to learn what your responses are for like fight, flight, and freeze. That's the most important thing. All these conversations, all these people have about relationships and self-development, we'll use some vague term that's generally applicable, but specific to you, how do you embody that? So that's another important thing to take from that.
Awful. And they're also the ones that are the most sort of instinctive. We can get past the wall in healthier ways.
So how do we deal with this wall then in a healthy way?
One of the ways to deal with it is to climb it. And that looks like staring at it to the outside observer. Because often when we're climbing our walls, what we're really doing is a whole lot of emotional work that takes place inside of us. So we're sitting with the dread and we're talking to ourselves in our head. I can do this. Like, I need to just start this.
So it's like gearing up to do the thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And sometimes we're just waiting for that energy to come back, right? Sometimes we're mentally exhausted and we need a little bit of time to recharge.
How can you tell if someone is staring at the wall or climbing the wall?
Often we can't. You have to ask. But sometimes if we pay close enough attention, we can tell. And a good example of that is a kid who takes 20 minutes to get their binders out of their backpack. The kid is taking forever to get their binders out. The parent goes over, grabs the binder, puts it on the table, flips it open, and is like, there you go, do your homework. And typically what happens then is the kid snaps and they either start yelling at mom or dad, or the hood goes up and they start beating themselves up and they shut down. The kid was climbing their wall. The reason it was taking them so long to get their binders out of their backpack was that action was the physical manifestation of them climbing the wall. But the climb was hard and it was slow and it was taking 20 minutes. And when mom or dad insists that they do the work right now, they're saying, get to the other side of the wall. And the only option that kid has to get to the other side that quickly is to Hulk smash their way through the wall. But if we notice that someone is kind of heading towards doing the thing that they need to do, probably they're heading towards doing that thing. They just need a little bit of a longer runway. What gets tricky is when it's computer-based, because sometimes we do the computer equivalent of picking up sticks in the yard before we mow, but then we get sucked down the Facebook rabbit hole.
Man, that's a tough one. He said, not 20 minutes though.
He
Listen,
said not 20 minutes.
some people got a long runway. Some people need a long runway to take off.
Shit,
And
I need a whole day. I need a whole day runway.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I suffer with the wall of awful, for real. So I know what it's like.
No. That's definitely a real thing. Everybody, and that's what I would say, people that deal with if you're dealing with other people, like in a, I guess, I don't know what to want to say. I don't want to say intimate. In a deeply personal capacity where you're interacting with them for long periods of time and something meaningful or has like importance, it's important to learn people's methods, because some people are procrastinating and will just kill all of your time and put you in an urgent situation. Some people just need time to build up the stamina or the energy or to figure it out. Because I know sometimes I'll like mentally map out something. I'm going to do this, and sometimes it takes me a while to sort all the pieces I'm dealing with to put them in the order that will optimize my time. Because I do like even before I go to a grocery store, I probably spend more time before I go to a grocery store preparing than when I'm in there. Because I'll look at the layout of the store, where things are located, and I'll reorient my list. First, I'll put everything on the list. Then I'll reorient in the way.
You do that for real?
Yeah. So I'll put everything I want. I'll look through the circular and everything I want, plus everything that's not on the circular. Anything I want that's not on the circular, for like on sale, I'll put the prices and sale prices and any coupons and trigger points. Like, you got to get 5 of these. I'll put all of that on a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Then I'll look at the way the store is laid out. And then I'll start, like produce, meat, deli, dairy.
Yeah.
I'll reorient that based on the order that I'm going to walk through the store in. So I'll spend more time prepping than actually in the store. So like
Okay.
that's not just the only task I do that with. So there's lots of things.
Yeah, I do that with the store too. I know like some stores have started to lay it out that way for people. Like I know in Publix, if you put it on your list, it has the list laid out by the store aisles and stuff like that, which is really nice.
That's what's
So
up.
yeah, that makes
like
I
that.
do the same. Yeah, that's the same. I do. I mean, I've gotten better with the wall of awful. So is grocery shopping a wall of awful for you?
Yes, and I can tell you why. My family, I have a deeply. I don't want to say traumatic. That word is used a lot. I have a lot of negative emotion around grocery shopping. My older sister, if I went with her when I was younger, when I was like a kid or something like that, if I went with her, she always bought food stamps. And she would have like hundreds of dollars. And she would go to one store. Then she would go to another store. Then she would go to another store because each store had different things and different things on sale. And she would go to the meat market and the regular grocery store and then like a Family Dollar. And there was so many stops and it would eat up my entire day. And if I was stuck with her, you know what I'm saying? So it was as a young person, that's like deeply trouble, especially if like I'm just gonna go to the store real quick. That's what I heard. I'm gonna go to the store real quick. Oh, let's go to the store real quick. 8 hours later, you know what I'm saying? And it's like,
no.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got that same trauma King got. My husband got. I never put two and two together. That man will glaze over. He freezes. You know, they say fight, flight. He go away. He dissociate. If you say he was gonna go to the grocery store, that man dissociate. And now I just realizing when you say that, it's because his mom, who has ADHD, when she used to, when they was kids, them people who they will leave the house in the morning on Saturday to go to 1 or 2 stores, and them they wouldn't get back to 10 p.m. and maybe ate once. Ate once the whole time. So yeah, I didn't realize that was a traumatic point. I think that is traumatic to me.
Yeah. And my mom was the same. When in her and my mother and my sister are the same. When they get into the store, it's like the lady, oh, when I think of this, I think of this. Like, oh, I saw this. I want to get the mashed potatoes. Oh, well, now I need to get the meat that's going to go with the mashed potatoes. So then they go to the meat. Oh, but if I have enough of this left over, I can make this. Now we're going back to the rice. So in the store, they act like the lady in the TikTok, which drives me crazy because I'm like, we just passed here 3 times. Why didn't you get this? I didn't think of it then. I thought of that when I saw that. I can't operate like that with my time. My time is very important to me. So it's like, it drove me nuts emotionally. It was hard to deal with because it felt like it was never going to end. Like that lady, the rant, there's never an end to the things that make you think of something else. Then at the end of all of that, you're broke. We're broke. We were poor. So we get all of this, and then you got to start putting stuff back, which is embarrassing to me. Like that was like embarrassing. You get to the front of the line. Okay, we got so-and-so. Hey, watch that. If it goes over 150, if it goes over da-da-da, if it goes over da-da-da, start taking, okay, which one do we want to take off? Okay, take that off. Now you're not getting that candy today. It's like,
and it's like not magic. Like you could just be like kind of tallying this up as you went if you weren't so impulsive. Oh my God. Yeah. It just made me thinking about it.
Which is why I plan ahead. I know the price. If I need to, I'll calculate the tax. If like the bill's getting up to 200, 300, I'll calculate the tax. If it's under 100, I know it's not going to go over $7. Like it's like 7.25 here. So I don't really need to worry about it if it's under 100. But if it's 200, okay, 14, 15. But I mean, like, it drove me nuts as a kid and a teenager. So now, I refuse. I'll never go out like that.
Highly meticulous people and highly what I call my neurotic. No, there's another word I use for my husband. People who are was like, okay, so y'all all done been traumatized. That's y'all problem. That's why y'all can't just be carefree.
Not on certain things.
Through life because certain things is just I see now. Because my mom was, thank God, my mom was not like that at all. So I just be floating through life like not traumatized from just running errands on Saturdays. So I'm starting to get it now.
And then, like you said, on Saturdays, so you got to think you're missing Saturday morning cartoons. You're missing all your friends are out of school. So you're not playing basketball. You're not playing curveball. Where maybe some of your friends got like 2 parents. Like for me, I had a single parent. So I had to be with them or I might be getting in trouble. But some of my friends have both parents, so they get to play while one parent's running the errands, the other one's around to watch over them, so they get to play. I don't, or they got a grandparent around. So man, all that stuff adds up. I have to make a list when I go to the grocery store. If not, I end up wandering around the store and buying everything I don't need. That's another problem. Impulse buying.
Now you see Yella's method.
He's a wing it. Which
I'm
again,
not
what you
shocked.
say? I'm not shocked either. I'm not shocked either. Because that's how he seems to do like a lot of things. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna just show up and it's gonna be great. It's gonna work. It's gonna work.
I mean, okay.
Like put your hand in your pocket.
Just make the menu up on the fly.
I got $8.50, and I want 2 steaks. $8.50. How am I gonna get these 2 steaks? You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna go over to the manager special, get 2 of them tags, and put them on these.
I didn't say what kind of steak. I just said steak. So worst case, we just have country fried steak. We have beef steak tomatoes. It's still steak.
Still steak. Yeah.
Hey, Haley.
That's too funny. What's up, Haley?
Or whatever it is that we get distracted by, and we don't realize that we've been diverted and we're going somewhere else. So
now I'm gonna tell you though, Bree, because when she said she picked up the phone and there was something in the phone that triggered her, and you said something a long time ago about just doing it before you have time to think yourself out of it. I've had to incorporate that. I've had to incorporate, because if I pick up the phone, my alerts pull me away from whatever I went to the phone for. So if I'm trying to get to a list, if I'm trying to get to my email, if I'm trying to check my bank account or credit card or something like that, once I see, oh, this was on sale on the front screen. So before I've even unlocked the phone, I'm getting ready to swipe up to unlock it. It's like, shoot.
See, now I turn all that off.
Oh.
The only thing I have on my phone is the little red circles. Like, okay, it's stuff in here you need to read, but they don't get to just pop up or be on my home screen because I'll never get anything done. I have to turn it off. I have to go into it to see it. So I don't want to have to. No, we turn off pop-up notifications.
But some stuff is like so time sensitive. Like some sales would be like, okay, this is like you only gonna get like 1 hour. I need to.
God didn't mean it for me. If I ain't see it, God didn't mean it for me. God didn't mean it for me. That's it. I can't do that. I never get anything done.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. I might have to rethink that one because some of the stuff is not useful. Especially
stuff.
Some of the stuff I might want though. I might want it real bad. Like I might want it a lot. Yeah.
That's where an outside observer can be beneficial. They just have to be careful about how they communicate that with us.
How can I tell if I'm climbing the wall or if I'm just staring at it?
Yeah, that's a good question. One, you have to know that you have a wall of awful for the thing that you're about to start. And if you're trying to start a task that you have a wall of awful for, as soon as you realize you're struggling, you can think, oh, I'm climbing the wall of awful. And that's the language we want to use, because we could say that we're sitting with the dread. But sitting and procrastinating are very stationary verbs. Climbing is an active verb. Climbing the wall and that little reframe can help us move forward towards the task that we want to engage.
Reframing,
you are doing work, even though it looks like you're not. It's just emotional work. You're climbing the wall.
That's it for this week. Thank you so much.
All right, that was part 1. Got part 2 downloaded.
That was good.
Yeah, and I needed a refresher because I something I deal with certain tasks. Like I'll tell you, like as far as executive functioning and executing tasks, if I absolutely have to do it, like get the rent paid on time. Like I gotta get it over here by, or we're gonna have a late fee. Like I know that there's a late fee. I know how much the late fee is. I know I can't really afford to be eating that late fee. But I'm still only probably 95% chance that I'm going to follow through on the stuff I feel like I absolutely have to do. There's always 5% chance that I'm so like I don't even care. There's always
I kind of get like that if there is anything that creates a difficulty to where I cannot do it the way I want to do it, I'd be like, fuck it all. Now my problem is, which I can kind of understand the crying lady to some degree, because if things are off and I feel like I'm powerless to do anything about it for some reason, like maybe because of how we get paid, we don't just always get money all the time. It's just like, oh, maybe he's on a contract. I let stuff go so bad, and then I have this thing in my head where it's just like dead to me almost, but then I'm like always thinking about it. So then I just like really can get really like let it all burn kind of. Like I'll just get like just let it all burn. Like just burn it all down. And it wasn't even necessary. So like it's like one thing I wanted to pay this day, well we couldn't pay it because you know this and this and that. And it would have to be something that like I had plans to do and I couldn't do it. And now I know there's nothing I can do to make it happen until a certain point. Then I just be like, I'm just not gonna do anything until I can get to that point where I can do the one thing I wanted to do. So it's like everything has to pause until I can do everything I wanted to do. Like everything else pauses until I can do the one thing I was supposed to do. So I don't know. Makes sense. That's just the other way. Like even if I have something scheduled that day that I'm dreading doing, I can't do anything else the rest of the day.
Until you're done that one thing.
Yeah, that's my struggle with the wall of awful. Like I couldn't go to a doctor's appointment and do something else I don't want to do on the same day.
Yeah, I get that because I have because I had this thing and I explained it to people. I have like I have an issue with obstacles to an obstacle. So like even if it's something small, like if I have to wash dishes, but let's say I said like I moved something and I left like 6 boxes in the kitchen in front of the sink. But I gotta wash dishes. But I'm gonna have to move those boxes before I wash dishes.
Yeah,
I'm probably not washing the dishes today. I'll probably now move
you
the
don't
boxes.
Just have to. You just don't have to just wash the dishes now. You have to like move boxes.
Move boxes.
You get like the lady who was crying. Not that bad, but that's in essence where her problem was. She had all these tasks that were stopping her from doing the one thing she wanted to do.
Yes. That's one thing though. What I do recognize is when I can feel when I'm putting too many obstacles in front of a task. So I've kind of structured the way I do things to a point where I never add too. I would never get so far down the daisy chain like she did. I would never get that far.
Yeah, right.
Something in me would kick in like I'm going to make my life unmanageable, and then I'm going to want to not live it. Like I'm going to check. I'm going to just go what JP call it lying flat. I'm just going to lay face down in my bed and hide from my life if I let it. As far as she let it go, I couldn't.
I'm surprised she was still in the house.
Man.
Because what my mother-in-law does is she just leave the house.
Yeah.
She just find every excuse to not be in the house. She just find every excuse to not be in the house.
Yeah.
Once it gets too bad there, she gone. She just out. And then she comes home, slides stuff over, get that one little spot on the bed so she can go to sleep, and then get up early and leave again.
So. I want to check something because I think where she started though. I'm gonna just check this again real quick. Give me a second, because
why?
Because I'm trying to clean the kitchen because it's a disaster. Cleaning, I realize I'm hungry, so I'm gonna make me some carrot juice. Well, start to make my carrot juice, but I can't make my carrot juice because I have no classes that are clean. Well, I'm gonna load these in the dishwasher, but when I go to unload it.
Okay, that's what I thought. Right there. If I really wanted something, I could just wash a cup. She said I had to put these glasses in the dishwasher. I could just wash the glass I need.
Right.
Just what and that would have stopped the chain, even in all the disaster.
Just eat the carrot because you hungry. So eat the fiber and then you won't be hungry. You juicing carrots. First problem with this whole thing is you juicing carrots in response to being hungry instead of just eating the fucking carrots.
That's a good point.
You wouldn't need no dishes if you just ate them.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
That was my whole thing. So just eat them.
Just eat them. Just eat it.
Just eat the carrots. So that's already showing you there is some mental processes dysfunction going on because your response to being hungry is to juice carrots, which means you're gonna also dirty up a juicer.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna dirty up a knife, a chopping board, a juicer, a cup.
Yep. All of that.
Just to juice these carrots you could have ate.
Mm-hmm. Because she didn't say hungry, not thirsty. She said hungry.
She said, I'm hungry.
So I'm gonna juice
carrots. So you ain't getting the fiber that's gonna make you not hungry.
That's funny.
Imagine it. Anyway.
So this is how bad I am. Got because we don't have a dishwasher in the apartment. Got a countertop dishwasher, but it was so annoying. Now listen, because I like this is how petty, this is how small the obstacles have to be. You had to disconnect the aerator from the nozzle, and then attach the hose that goes to the countertop dishwasher. And after the cycle ran, you had to disconnect it and add the aerator back. That process kept me from using it, and I would just wash dishes by hand.
So you needed to get a new obstacle to make the obstacle that you were avoiding a diversion of the new obstacle.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm like, I need everything to be simple. For whatever reason, I know the microwave society and all that. I'm so used to simple. It sounds like offloading and unloading the dishwasher, offloading and unloading.
Like, well, if I make washing dishes a shortcut to not having to wash the dishes, then I will happily hand wash the dishes. It works though. I've done it myself.
Yeah. It got so bad. I was like, I'd rather just wash it. It was just quicker for me to wash the dishes than to hook up hoses and unhook hoses and unload the dishwasher and load it. And it was just so much of a hassle to wash dishes with that. And it took so long and it was loud. So I was like, you know what?
And it's just like sitting in the way.
And it took up so much counter space. It took up so much real estate.
My mom had like a rolling one, like when you could roll in.
I wanted to get a cart
to the sink. Yeah, but it was still annoying though. You had to attach that hose, and then it's just like in the way. It's taking up. You can't use the sink. Annoying.
My nephew refused. To use it. Like he refused. Of course, he also wouldn't wash dishes, but you know, I could wash dishes. Anybody could wash dishes, but anybody. I tried to see that because I was like, wait a minute, she didn't have to go even down that whole rabbit hole that she went down.
See that, but that's what happened. She's avoiding. She's probably waited to eat until the last minute. She's probably avoiding eating, or she's so like in La La Land, she ain't even realized she was hungry. She's gotten over hungry now.
Girl, dinner.
And she probably didn't have anything quick, or something she wanted would be cooked. So she just tried to do something quick, which in her mind was juice.
Yeah.
And then it just, you're trying to avoid stuff, but now you've gotten to the point where the thing you're avoiding is everywhere. So now you're panicking.
Yeah, that's interesting. What they say, you shouldn't halt. You shouldn't try to make big decisions or have discussions when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And she got too hungry to actually function.
Yeah. And that's why when he said take a nap, that was weird to me, because it's like she's clearly hungry. Like, give her a Snickers.
He's like, she's hungry.
So take a nap.
I'm gonna tell you though, there are people that they may be on a quest to get food. Like you probably experience this with children. Even if they're talking about food, the real issue is that they're tired. So they're making a bigger issue out of something like hunger or something else, but it's really because they're just tired. So they're kind of weepy. Like, and I'm wondering if I've seen that with kids a lot. When they start getting weepy, like, I'm overwhelmed. Like that is really, they're just tired. And they may be hungry and they may be trying to solve the tiredness with fuel. Like I'm trying to fuel.
And you can't sleep hungry.
Yeah.
So if you're both, really then you gotta eat. But she's drinking juice. So is she really hungry?
Yeah, she might just be tired and like, I need energy. So maybe she might be transmuting or changing, energy into hunger.
And I wonder if she was pregnant here, because she definitely has been pregnant.
Yeah, well,
I was gonna say the last time I did that, I was pregnant. So the last and one of the only times I've ever really just been like, I can't do anything. I'm gonna cry and be hungry. Was when I was pregnant. So, I don't know.
And he says she does surrogate. She does surrogacy for people. So that's. I wonder. She might have been. I'm gonna get to this wall of awful number 2. The second part of that video we started a second ago.
Last time we talked about the concept of the wall of awful and how to climb it. This week we're gonna talk about how to cheat. I mean, make it easier. I mean, cheat. The Wall of Awful is a metaphor by Brendan Mahan of ADHD Essentials, and I love it because it explains really well why we tend to have such a hard time with things that should be really easy. There's a link to that episode in the description below. But to recap, the Wall of Awful is an emotional barrier between you and whatever it is you're trying to do, like pay a past due parking ticket, built from past failures and all the negative emotions and outcomes that come with them. Here are ways we tend to try to deal with the Wall of Awful that don't work. Here's a way that does work but isn't exactly healthy. And here's a way that works and is healthy. But sometimes we need a shortcut. Maybe we're tired, or maybe our walls are really big and overwhelming. Maybe we're definitely not going to pay the past due parking ticket unless we can find a way to make it a little easier. In other words, unless we modify that wall. Luckily, according to Brendan, there are a couple of ways you can do this. The first he calls putting a door in it.
Now, real quick though, like it's funny because like paying a parking ticket, that would have never been on my issue thing. Like it would never come up as something that's complicated to pay. Really?
That's me. It'd be like calling in and paying a bill. Oh my God.
That's so easy. Like that is
no, and that's the thing. My Wall of Awful tasks are rarely a task. The movement of the task, the doing. It's little stuff that doesn't require much movement at all. Yep. It's just, which goes back to me whining about I don't want to make the dinner, I don't want to go get it, because it's never really that for me. It's the mental part of it.
Yeah, I know it's all emotional. It makes me wonder why where their emotional hangups are, how they got to be those things. Because like when I talked about when I talked about the grocery shopping,
right?
It made sense. Like, man, so if you don't mind, if you know, like, why is like bill paying? Like, why does that one hang you up?
I don't really, because I be spending money. I don't ever recall a point in life where I was like, really, I mean, we grew up with not a lot of money, but I never really felt affected by it. As far as like bills, I don't know. I just, most of the time is if I have to call and pay a bill, or like, I don't even like downloading apps on my phone. If I gotta like sign in, I won't do it. If I have to call and talk to a robo person to do it, I'm not gonna do it. If I gotta create a new account to do something, I'm going to put it off as long as possible.
That makes sense.
So I don't know if it's actually the paying the bill. I don't feel no type of way about it.
It's some of the other processes.
It's putting obstacles in front. Like, I'm never calling Xfinity. Listen to me. I will let my internet get cut off. I'm not calling Xfinity ever. I'm not. Like, I just returned equipment to Xfinity from when I moved out of June.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I couldn't call them. So I was like, they're going to have to call me. They're going to have to call me looking for it. And that's the only way I'm going to get this. Because I'm not calling them. I hate it. Yeah. So.
It's fun. It's funny how weird everybody's like wired so different. Because see, I like the robo people. I actually prefer talking to a robo person than a real person. The real people, it bothers me because I'm completely powerless. Because the moment I get too agitated or too assertive or too anything, they can just disconnect or blind transfer. And I've got to start over and I'm frustrated and there's nothing anybody's going to do except what they're willing to do. I hate that part. When I get to people, that's when my little bit of anxiety kicks in, because it's like, I know that you could just hang up at any time and I've got to start this process all over. And I've already been on hold for 30 minutes.
The trust issues that they're going to hang up. Now, if they got an accent, I'm going to hang up.
Ooh, you racist. Ooh,
I'm not racist. If it's after a certain time in America and the person who answered got an accent, I'm hanging up. Say what you want. I ain't got time. I'm not playing with them people. No.
Anybody listening? Isn't that racist?
That's not racist.
Here's an accent.
Because it's not a specific race.
It's all the races. If they're okay, that's nationalist.
They might be America. They might be from America.
They could be from America. So accentish.
If it's after like a certain time where most businesses will be closed, and I call and someone with an accent answer, I'm hanging up.
Man.
I'm just letting you know I'm hanging up. I don't care. If it's in business hours, I might stick around. But as soon as they sound like they don't know what they're talking about,
man,
I'm hanging up. Yeah.
Typically, when they don't know what they're talking about, I ask to speak to somebody else. Like, you transfer me to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get my task that I get hung up on, but it also I just don't have the privilege of feeling no type of way about grocery shopping or some of the other stuff because I just have to do it. So I think that's also part of it.
Well, I gotta do it. I gotta do it too, but I still feel a way about it. So I just don't do it with anybody else. I don't go to stores with people if I can help it. My homeboy needed to go to the store because they put liquor stores inside stores. So I went by the store with my homeboy a couple times, man. But it's still always like a panic, like, oh, they're gonna try to get some other stuff. They're gonna. I feel it. I didn't express it.
You need to work through that trauma, bro. You need to do that tapping. You ever seen people tap the trauma out? You need to tap.
No, I've never seen that.
You need to tap that trauma out, bro. You can't be clenched up every time somebody say, I just gotta get a few items from the store.
I'm trying to tell you, man, my spine just, it just, press 1 for English.
Thank you.
No, kind of, sort of English. Not kind of, sort of.
Thank you.
Stop it.
Because you know them people don't be knowing. They reading the script.
They read a script. Oh, my God.
If it sound like you reading the script, I'm hanging up. This is like, my husband be sick of me. Because he don't want to call him either. He don't like it either.
Yeah, I've had a few of them I had to ask, like, stop reading the script. And because they're mandated to read script, I'm like, nope. And I'm not confirming my identity. They probably got something
in the script. They got something in the script for you telling them to start reading the script.
They might. That's true.
Yeah.
I might be playing into, I might be falling right into the, that's funny.
No, but if they say, confirm your identity, did you call me?
That's what I won't do it anymore. If somebody calls me and asks me to confirm my identity, I'm like, you called me. I opened the call because I don't say hello if it's a number I don't know.
Right.
I say this is Rashawn. So if I started the call with my name, then I don't do that. I don't do that because
now look, bill collectors, they wait for you to confirm your identity and accept the debt. So if they call you and be like, hey, you owe us money, don't ever say, I'm not paying y'all the money. Be like, I don't know this debt you speak of.
Yeah. I don't get a lot of debt collector calls, but the one I got was actually illegitimate. Spectrum. Spectrum. When I left Spectrum, I left Spectrum. They're trying to bill me $120 for a month of service I didn't get. And they keep trying to bill me and call me for that. So I kept telling people, and I kept telling them, I don't owe this debt. But they keep trying.
That's where I learned that from, because of that. Like people like Xfinity, you know, those bills, as soon as if they say you owe them, and you be like, anything to confirm that it's your debt, you know, they will take it and run with it. So now I don't care who you are. I'm pretending I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They sent that to a collector too, and I'm like, first of all, I don't owe y'all anything. I owe Spectrum if I owe, but I'm like, I don't. And I told them, I gave them the whole rundown. I had names and everything because Spectrum's the worst. Ooh, Spectrum.
You already
I'm sorry.
accepted
I went on a whole rant.
Sorry, I know, but this is why I don't like. I guess it's probably that, like, just having talking.
That's how much awful.
When you're dealing with some of these businesses, knowing that you can have this whole conversation on the phone, I think that's probably where it comes from. Knowing I can have this whole conversation on the phone, and then it doesn't get to the next person. It's not on file. It's not, you know what I'm saying? I can have the same fucking conversation with somebody. I'm on the robocall list. Y'all can call my ass back in a couple hours. It's just all of that. That's the wall of awful with calling people to get things done. I just feel like it's a waste of time. Hey.
What's up, Inay? Hey. Let's get back to this wall of awful.
Let Brendan explain.
So putting a door in the wall of awful is really about changing your emotional state, because the wall of awful is made of emotions. So if we can get past all of those emotions by just changing the emotions inside of us, we can get to the task at hand. A good example of this is that there's plenty of times where people are sitting on the couch.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen. This is going to work through an emotional solution to the wall of awful. I'm going to play a video behind it that's going to talk about a physical. It's like there's 3 modes: the thoughts, feelings, and behavior. So this one has the emotional solution. I'm going to play one that has a physical, I'll say an origin point, a physical point of origin. So this is the emotional point of origin to start with your emotions. I have one that starts with your physical. Maybe you're more in touch with your physical side. Then I have one that's a thought-based one. So we're going to go cognitive, affective, and behavioral as far as solutions to this wall of awful thing. That's why I wanted to go through it. Everybody has different modes. I'm more analytical and cognitive, but this one's talking about emotional. So if you're a more feely person, this solution here might work better for you. As far as not solution, working through your wall of awful, climbing your wall of awful, putting a door in your wall of awful. And what's up, Greg? Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Go to the gym. I should go to the gym. I should go to the gym. And they're not going to the gym. But then if the Eye of the Tiger comes on, now they're doing push-ups on the living room floor because music affects us emotionally.
Well,
and so
like
we can use music to change our emotional state, put a door on the wall, and be more motivated. And it's certainly not the only option. A lot of the things that provide us with dopamine also help us put a door on the wall. So a time limit, if I only have 20 minutes to cook dinner, I'm going to cook dinner. Or novel experiences can help us put a door on the wall. And that includes novel places, right? There's a reason so many people write in coffee shops. Exercise is a great way to put a door on the wall, not just because it gets us working some of that anxiety out, but also because after we exercise, our brain gets flooded with dopamine. And if we can ride that dopamine window to get started, then we're good. And even if the dopamine kind of peters out, we're already on a roll.
So why would we ever need to climb the wall if we can just put a door in it?
Putting a door in it is going to help you get past the wall right now, but it's not necessarily going to make it easier long term. I mean, you can just always write in a coffee shop and get past the wall that way, but you haven't dealt with whatever the barriers are that are making it harder for you to write.
Which isn't really a problem until the coffee shop is closed when you want to write, or you ran out of money because coffee is really expensive, it turns out. In which case, what do we do?
So one thing we can do is start putting handholds into our walls of awful. And what that looks like is developing some ADHD-friendly strategies to make it easier to get started, like developing time wisdom. Something that I have a wall of awful for is mowing the lawn. In my head, mowing the lawn is an all-day project because we ADHD people conflate emotions and time. The more you put something off, the bigger it feels. So I timed how long it really takes me to mow the lawn. And it turns out it's like a 2.5-hour experience. And knowing that makes it easier for me to start. Also, planning what you're going to do before you do it. Setting clearer, more attainable, and probably fewer goals. So instead of saying, I have to check my email, say, I need to reply to 5 emails. That clear goal is really powerful. And related.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all are somebody that gets overwhelmed by like quantity, that really helps. I know Bree, Sister Shy Cutie, mentioned that to me one time, and I was like, I'm going to try it. She was like, yeah, just try it. I'm going to try it. And I actually did cut some of my tasks down to like what seems like embarrassingly small chunks. But it was so much easier. That's what you. I just did a really small chunk every day for a really small chunk, like an embarrassing. Like I'm gonna clean off and dust and wipe down this one table, just this one table. But if I do like 5 tables or a table, 2 dressers, and something, after a week, like an entire area is cleaned up, and it's just really one. It probably like 30 minutes a day. Like it was. I was like, dang, this is embarrassingly. It's like it was embarrassingly simple and effective.
But it's like, so when you're like dealing with the wall of awful, it's not just that. It's like the wall of awful plus that. So like you got to scale the wall. And like all of these things, like for me, this is what works for me. This also is what works for my daughter. I'm not saying I haven't been diagnosed with ADHD, but I mean, sometimes I be feeling like it. But this is all of these things work for me. Music, like novelty of experiences, like my environment, like me changing the environment helps, making it pleasant, making it smell nice, playing music, going somewhere new. All of those things definitely help me. And breaking down the task. I always set 3 tasks a day that I have to get done. And I just put the 3 up, and as long as I can check those 3 tasks off, then I'm good. But what I find is when I check them off, I get this burst of energy from feeling like I accomplished these tasks, that I can do more tasks. But I also limit myself to not overdo it. So I always say, okay, you can do an additional, like, because these tasks are small, like you said, ridiculous small. They're not crazy. Like paint the whole house. It might say like, if I were to paint the house, maybe it would be like, paint this wall. You know what I mean? But also it has to make sense so you're not overwhelming yourself by breaking it down into ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, these tasks aren't life changing. It might just be like check 10 emails, reply to this, or do this one thing you've been putting off. You know, so it really works though.
Yeah, no, it is effective. It is effective. I mean, again, for people that have that issue, it definitely is effective. The issue is like I got to make it a habit because I was doing it for a while and then I fell off, and I got to get back to it. But I've adopted sometimes what you said. Do it before I have a chance to talk myself out of it. Using the micro habits, breaking it down into smaller chunks, and then what was the third one? I can't remember. It's gone just that quick. But there's a third one I did. Putting it because it's something my mother used to say. Do what you have to do before you do what you want to do. So if there's something I want to do, I try to put a task that I've been putting off ahead of that. Like that's kind of like equal in time. So if I wanted to play like a Fortnite, because I've been getting back into Fortnite. So I started playing games again. And I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to be on there for about an hour. So I try to do an hour of work before I do the hour of gaming. Because I want to try to invest as much time in the stuff I'm supposed to be doing as the stuff I just want to do to kill time or, relax or decompress or distract myself. So I've been trying to use those methods.
It works. It feels ridiculous, but we weren't taught really how to do it. All of us.
Yeah, definitely wasn't. Kind of yesterday what it was. I was putting off doing the stuff for the game night tonight. Yesterday, and I was like, okay, I'll do it Tuesday night. And I was like, nah, I'll wait till Wednesday early, like Wednesday at this time. I'll do it Wednesday at this time. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that because I know I'm about to get on Fortnite and try to get these quests done. Why don't I get my real life quests out of the way first,
right?
Before I do these virtual quests, so that get me nothing. So it was interesting.
To that is defining done. We have to know what done looks like if we're going to do the thing that we want to do, because people with ADHD tend to have this all or nothing thinking. Let's say we want to write a book. I feel like I have to write that whole book in one day, except that isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not done until I finish writing my book, which means I can't have time for family or friends or eating until I'm done writing my book.
Right. But you can be done writing the book after an hour for that day. Another thing that puts really solid handholds in our wall is allowing time for transition. That's why a commute is useful, because you're driving for 20 minutes or an hour thinking about what you have to do at work before you can actually do it. So we ride out that initial burst of anxiety and we settle into what we actually need to do. But if you're trying to transition directly from a meeting to your email, you get stuck, as opposed to taking 15 to 20 minutes to transition to the task at hand. Another thing that is really useful for developing handholds in our wall is just reflecting.
I'm trying to think about it. Transitioning, man, that feels. Does it? I'm having a hard time.
When I had to go to work. Yeah, when I used to work, because the nature of the job, I guess. I think some stuff I don't think requires that much. Maybe, I mean, if I, but definitely for work, because it's like such
Nursing,
a mindset I have to be in. Yeah, to get there. I don't know, that ride to work, definitely. Just being in, well, I wasn't in uniform, but I had like because we wear scrubs, the surgical ones, but I still had my cap on, my glasses, and my badge, just like being in the clothes, driving to work, I don't know, it just helped.
That
makes sense. Out of that mindset of being at home and get out of mom mindset into like nurse,
That makes sense. Yeah, now between big shifts and energy, that makes sense. It was the example he used from like going from a meeting to email. That felt like you need a 15-minute
be
transition.
Doing it at work. you be at work already, isn't it? Work task.
I gotta decompress from this meeting to open these work emails. I'm like, that felt extra. I don't know.
Maybe that's like really severe ADHD, but
it might be, and I get it. I can get it, but we're talking about different spectrums. I have like certain task-oriented wall of awful.
Right.
It's not a complete life wall of awful, but somebody may deal with this in every aspect. So I'm with it. But boy, man, if I had to take 15 minutes between a meeting, if I had to take 15 minutes between a meeting and an email, and it wasn't even a contentious meeting, man, I don't know how I'd operate, man. That'd be tough.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to keep. That's gonna limit you as far as work. That might be a little bit of a struggle. I don't know.
Hey.
On how things have gone. Did it go as well as I wanted it to? Did it not quite go that well, but I still succeeded? And then why? That kind of reflection is important because it gives us strategies for next time.
That's important to understand, because I feel sometimes like reflecting is a waste of time, because I look at all the walls of awful that I have to climb and I'm like, I gotta keep climbing.
But it makes it easier for later. I can spend an hour climbing this wall of awful every day, or I can spend an hour climbing it today and then spend a half an hour reflecting on it. And now it's only going to take me 45 minutes to climb it tomorrow. And I'm still 15 minutes in the hole, but the day after tomorrow, it's going to take me 45 minutes. And the day after that, it's going to take me 45 minutes. And eventually I earn that half an hour back. Even if all I save is 5 minutes, I'm still going to earn my time back.
Felt like sketchy math. That felt like some.
Pull the chart back up. They had a little chart, right? Okay. So yeah, that's still an hour and a half. Yeah.
I mean, no, the numbers added up. The principle is what didn't make sense. If I spend an hour today and spend 30 minutes like thinking and decompressing.
Oh yeah, okay.
The next day, if it only takes me 45 minutes on the task, like because I spent 30 minutes on Monday, on Tuesday, I'm going to get it done in 45 minutes because of the 30 minutes from yesterday. No, it's still going to take me 60 minutes.
It sounds like, to me, that seems more like that grocery shopping thing, kind of, if I thought about it that way. Like if I spend an extra 30 minutes to plan out the grocery shopping, then it'll be faster when I do go.
I can see that. So like what you learned, what I did on Monday, if I debrief, and if I spend 30 minutes breaking down where my inconsistencies or inefficiencies were on Monday, I'll be more efficient on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But he's not taking into the account the emotional quotient. I'm still going to feel the same way on Tuesday. I'm still going to need some, like according to their principles, I'm still going to have that wall of awful, which means I'm still going to sit on the
why
front
you
end.
have it though, because sometimes it's like the newness of the task or the first go through of the task has an emotional load to it. That once you have done it one time, it doesn't. Like that's what I go through more so than anything. Like the first time I have to do it, I feel like I'm way slower and it takes a lot more time.
Yeah.
But then like if I think about it and like I can be more efficient and like think about what I did, I don't know, it just doesn't take as much time.
Yeah.
But I don't know about these minutes he crunching right here.
Yeah.
But, I mean, because it really is gonna also depend. Like if I have to be somewhere for an hour, then there's nothing I can do to make it less. So I'm assuming this has to be some kind of task where it's just like as long as it takes you is how long it takes. I don't know.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying though. Any new task, you're going to be the least familiar with the task you're doing on the first go through. And if you look at what you did, take some time to break down what you did and see what you could do better. Of course, you could be a little bit more efficient the next time, provided it's the exact same task. Like you're repeating the exact same steps with the exact same materials or whatever. So, I mean, that part makes sense. But to think that 30 minutes on Monday is going to make you more efficient in perpetuity, that means that task can never change. That task and the materials, your emotional state. So I get what he's going for, but it just felt like that feels like they're selling false hope. Like, no, if you spend 30 extra minutes on Monday,
for some reason to not trust, you gonna find a reason to not trust some information. Listen,
no, I'm a critical thinker.
I know. You niggling, ain't it? What's you niggling? You giggling.
I get a little niggling, giggling and niggling. That's what I do.
Take me 45 minutes, and the day after that is going to take me 45 minutes, and eventually I earn that half an hour back. Even if all I save is 5 minutes, I'm still going to earn my time back eventually.
Do you still have walls of awful?
Oh yeah, all kinds of ways. Absolutely.
It's gone.
Is there a way that you can?
Yeah, that time is gone.
It's gone forever. You ain't getting it back.
That dude crazy. But I get it. I get that thinking. Like it just it's a form of reframing that makes the time investment worth it for him. Like if I sink this time, it then becomes worth it in the long run.
Yeah, this is just more reframing than like it's just reframing it in your mind so that your wall of awful is easier to get over.
Mm-hmm. It's lessening the impact of taking that extra 30 minutes to get off. Like it's like I don't want to feel bad. Like the shame and guilt of taking 30 minutes after a task that most people find simple. And I had to spend 30 minutes after it just thinking about it. Like most people didn't have to. They were able to move on. I don't want to feel bad about that. So I'm going to tell myself, I get to recapture that time throughout the week by being more efficient. That means the process would have to be the exact same every time to relieve the anxiety of the task facts. Yeah, that one just felt like wishful thinking.
prevent adding more bricks to your wall?
Forgiveness and understanding. What really puts bricks in our walls is judgment. So if we can approach our challenges from a place of non-judgment and a place of compassion and forgiveness and empathy, then we can avoid more bricks than we otherwise would. Maybe not all of them, but lots of them.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of understandable.
Yeah, you gotta fug yourself, y'all. You gotta fug yourself. I don't talk about it as much on this channel as I used to, but you really do need to fug yourself and fug other people. Forgive, understand, and give grace. It's very important.
To your fucked up brain.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I wish I had been thinking. Let me see, where's it at? I wish I had that tied up right after you said to your fucked up brain.
We can't all be normal, okay? Just saying.
Man, what is normal? What I believe, though, I believe that everybody has some level of impaired functioning in some aspect. There are no perfect people. So everybody has an impaired function in some area of their life. We just don't always see it. That's the issue. So they get the people that aren't as impaired in one area, not as public facing, they get to hide where their deficiencies or their lack of what do you want to call it? Development is in some other unseen area. Like sometimes like emotional development. Like we can see the effects of it, but we can, like, if we're not around people a lot, we may not notice it. But I think everybody has some level of underdevelopment, because whose parents and teachers are so perfect they got a completely well-rounded person? That just feels rare. I think what's normal is somebody who has an impaired function in some area of their life. ADHD people neurologically lack something called the pre-pause inhibition. It's not a lack of motivation, it's an excess of motivation. It's like the whole world is full of squirrels and you have to chase all of them at the same time. Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. Okay. Well, let's see if she paid this parking ticket, and then we'll move on to the Dr. K real quick.
Understandable that I got this parking ticket with everything that I was going through at the time. I can do this. I should probably finish the episode first. To recap, to modify our walls of awful, we can put doors in them by doing things that change our emotional state. Or we can put handholds in them by using ADHD-friendly strategies. For more ADHD tools and strategies, check out the links in the description below and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Thank you to my brain.
I like that. So you can change your emotional state by doing things that help you change your mood, change your emotions, like making your space more friendly, lighting some candles, playing some music. Things that evoke a different emotional state will evoke a different cognitive process, and you'll feel differently as well. Like your body, your physical body, it will respond differently once your mood is changed, once your emotions have changed. But as far as the handholds, there are things like I've learned, like me and Bree were talking about, like the dishes. I've done things. I take on some expenses and I do some things differently that mitigate some of those walls of awful. Like as far as dishes, man, I almost go all paper and plastic. I know I'm killing the world, y'all. Forgive me for your children and your grandchildren. Forgive me. But man, as far as the dishes itself, like that one task, boy, paper is the way. Or like a lot of
just have the option sometimes if you don't feel like doing it. I think the point of the advice is to help people with ADHD learn to time manage, because a lot of people with ADHD have struggled with executive function and time management. So I don't think this is like supposed to be all encompassing, but I think the focus of that was how do you, like you said, time management and motivation. I think what my understanding of wall of awful is not a lack of motivation. It's like you are motivated, but there's this wall of awful that's making you feel like the task is bigger than it is. I don't know. That doesn't feel like lack of motivation. If that still to me seems like the person is motivated to do the task, but they're kind of just like preoccupied with this wall in front of it that is causing them to not complete it. So I don't know. I think that I wouldn't say that's lack of motivation.
Yeah, I would say there are, like you said, obstacles. There are, I would say, demotivators. like as much as you're motivated to do the task, there are other things that are obstacles or challenging that motivation. Like you're trying to hit the gas, but you also have a foot on the brake, like emotionally at the exact same time. So you're not moving. So it's not that you're not hitting the gas. You might be burning out on the gas. Like you might be revving the engine, but you've got it like stuck in park, or you got the brake forward. So I feel like we have multiple processes running at the exact same time. So I think the emotional toll of whatever the shame, the guilt, the this, that, other, like like that lady that was overwhelmed in the TikTok, the feelings of overwhelm and her thinking, probably being ashamed that she was overwhelmed, and why can't I keep up with this, and why can't I stay on task, and why can't I get this done? And excuse me, you spiral. We typically call it like spiraling. I'm spiraling, or I'm overwhelmed, or I can't catch it. I can't get my head above water. Like we have a bunch of different sayings, but I think they're talking about this phenomenon. About to pull Dr. K up in here. Come on, Dr. K. What you got to say today?
You how to teach your body that stress is designed for life or death situations and not doing simple stuff like opening emails. So let's start by understanding what our stress system was designed for. So if you look at the animal kingdom through which we evolved, like our stress system is designed for short-term life or death situations. So if we're like human beings in a jungle and we see a tiger, that's what our stress system is designed for. You can look at things like deer or impala or even mice or snakes. And all of these organisms have stress systems, and they're designed for sort of immediate and severe threats. The problem, if you call it a problem, it's kind of not really a problem, right? I think it's a win for the human race. Most of the time in society today, we're not faced with life or death situations, right? Like we're pretty secure. Like we've got a place to sleep. Hopefully we have food and stuff like that. And so what we tend to see is that our stress system is inappropriately activated. The kinds of stress that we deal with today are more long-term. So on the first of the month, I'm already thinking about how am I going to pay my rent at the end of the month? How am I going to find a job? How am I going to find a partner? What's going to happen with climate change? What's going to happen with inflation? So the stressors that we face today are more chronic and long-term. And the problem is that our body has one system to deal with stress, and that system is designed for short-term stress. So in a weird way, our body inappropriately activates our stress system to deal with these problems. And this creates an even bigger issue. So if you're stressed out, you're probably sort of in this cycle of like, okay, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Let me engage in avoidance behaviors to make the stress go away. So I'm going to distract myself or things like that. And then as I distract myself and engage in avoidance, the problems that are causing me stress don't actually go away. And so as those problems build up and build up and build up, I start to feel even more overwhelmed and more stressed out. And so the problems tend to pile up. And then eventually you cross this very important threshold where your stress outweighs your feeling of overwhelmed. And then like at the last second, you procrastinate till the last minute. And then in a burst of stress-driven activity, you do something about your problem. If you're ready to take the next step on your mental health journey, check out Dr. K's guide. It's an immersive resource that distills over 20 years of my experience, but that was my whole life laid out in a way that
in a nutshell.
The letting you stress.
That whole cycle. That whole cycle. Avoid, more stress, more avoidance, more stress. Mm-hmm. And now we're just gonna lay in the bed all day.
Shut down.
We're overwhelmed. Yeah, then you just shut down. And sleep. I do sleep. I take a nap.
Yeah, naps are. I wish I need to add that clip. A nap is the most spiritual thing you could do. I need that clip. I need to add that clip.
It's like being dead. It's like I'm dead now. I don't have to do it when I'm asleep.
I'm dead now.
That's gonna sound bad, but it's like faux offing, faux delete, faux deletion to go to sleep in the middle of the day.
That is hilarious. Listen, I'm dead for about an hour. Like,
I'm dead
live
for
life
2
without
hours.
me. Live life without me.
See what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Go on without me. Everybody else up, I'm asleep.
Man.
I'm just saying. So that's
Rest
me.
in peace.
That's a struggle of my life right there. I've just got a handle on it maybe in the past year.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Man, I'm working towards. I know I'm better than I was, but man, I still got so far to go. And that what you just heard was me dealing with the shame and guilt of not being where I want to be. So
can't do like normal stuff. I mean, just like when we had the conversation with man Drill, he's like, just go work out. And I'm just like, just go work out.
Man,
that's cute. That's cute. I don't understand. I think there is always that shame of like, wow, why can't I just, there's people who just get up and do the things they have to do. And like, maybe they do struggle, but I can't tell. My mom's one of those people. Like, I don't know how she do it. I don't know. It's like, how, so there's always, especially if you know someone personally who does not struggle in that way
at all,
I feel like it's even worse.
It feels like everything's so easy for them.
Yeah,
like they don't even, it's like they don't even have the same inclinations at all, like wanting to call off of work or like oh my god,
it's just never like in her, it's just never like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do it. That's not a thing. Even like we're grown and out of the house, there's still never a task I've seen her run up on that she's like, oh, I'm too tired.
Oh.
Or she hesitates, or she's like, give me an hour, or give me 30 minutes. Like it's literally like, okay, let me put my shoes on. I'm like, how does she do that? I don't know.
I don't get it. Because I will have to ramp up or think about something. Oh my god. It's like they automatically just kick in. They don't think about it. They just do it.
Yeah, that's why I started doing it. Just do it. I've just taken that mantra on. If I have the thought I should do it, I just literally have to do it at that moment. I've just made it a system in my mind, and now it's more normal. Now I haven't struggled with it in months since I've started doing that.
Did it take some time to build up a habit, or was it like you just decided and?
I had been working on it. So I think it was like I was motivated to finally figure this out. So while I was highly motivated, I just started doing it. And I think by the time I lost motivation, it had already become a habit.
Okay. All right, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Doctor. Just do it.
Point isn't very good, right? You're kind of exhausted. You're sort of stressed out. You're doing everything all at once. Everything is rushed. And then you end up kind of doing a crappy job anyway. And then you beat yourself up and then the cycle just repeats itself. So today we're going to teach y'all how to short circuit that entire process, how to really understand how stress works so that you can optimally solve your problems. So let's start by understanding how our body keeps stress in check. So normally, let's say I'm walking through the jungle and I see a tiger. I start to run. There's a burst of CRH and then ACTH, and then that leads to cortisol. Adrenaline gets activated. As all these systems get activated, I also have a physical component. So since I'm running, my heart starts beating really fast, my blood pressure increases, and then something really, really interesting happens. As all of these things activate and I start running away, my body detects all of these things. So there are these things called your carotid baroreceptors, which are blood pressure sensors in your neck. And this is kind of interesting. In movies and stuff, when there's like a ninja and they like choke someone out, they're not actually cutting off their oxygen flow. What they're actually doing is squeezing on both sides of your carotid baroreceptors. And this is what's really interesting. When they squeeze on both sides of the carotid baroreceptors, our body thinks, oh my God, the blood pressure is way too high. Our blood pressure is huge, right? Because you're squeezing on those parts. So it increases the pressure. And as we increase the pressure there, it actually causes our heart rate to slow down and our blood pressure to drop, which causes people to pass out in the movies. But if we sort of stop and think about that, what we actually discover is this is the natural way that our body compensates with a high stress situation. When our blood pressure goes up and our heart rate goes up, our body recruits other things to slow our heart rate down, to decrease our blood pressure, and to stop the production of cortisol. Now, the problem in today's world is that when we feel stressed out, there is not that physical component, right? So we get cortisol release, but we don't actually increase our heart rate. We don't increase our blood pressure. We don't start hyperventilating because we're not physically running away from everything. The other thing that happens when we physically run away from things is that we release endorphins, and endorphins will help us literally relax. So basically what happens in the natural world and through millions of years of evolution is anytime my body gets stressed, it automatically starts the circuitry to de-stress. Endorphins, parasympathetic nervous system activation, and you'll kind of understand this if you go for a very brisk run, like if you exercise a lot, what does your body want to do afterward? It wants to do absolutely nothing. I'm going to sit down. I need to relax. You don't feel like doing anything. You're not even mentally stressed. You're just kind of vegging out. And so this is the really interesting thing. Our stress system today does not recruit any of those things because we feel this chronic stress with no homeostatic activation. There's no balancing of the stress response in today's world. So interestingly enough, if we want to actually de-stress, what we need to do is recruit those systems. So if you're feeling super stressed out about something, what you need to do is the most vigorous exercise you can do for as short of a time period as you can kind of tolerate. So we're not talking about 20 minutes a day. We're not talking about wake up every day and exercise. What we're talking about is literally if you are feeling stressed out, try to run as if a monster is chasing you and your life depends on it. Run as hard as you can for as short of a time period as you can. Like, you don't have to run for a long time. You could literally do a dead ass sprint for like 90 seconds. And if you feel absolutely exhausted and you can't run 91 seconds, then you're doing it right. Now, this is the really interesting thing. A lot of people may say, does this mean that I need to exercise? No. So this is what's really cool. So if you run at 50% of your capacity, you do not shut off your stress system. If you run at 70% of your capacity, you shut off your stress system more. If you run at 90% or 100% of your capacity, that recruits the greatest shut off of your stress system. So think about it very simply, right? So the harder you exercise and the more difficult your exercise is, the more that it stresses your body. The more that it stresses your body, the more that your body has to compensate as soon as the stress ends to even release more and more endorphins and calm you down even more. So the beautiful thing about this technique is that if you are not in shape, if you are not used to exercising, you will actually get a greater stress reduction than someone who is in shape.
Ooh, incentive. Hey.
That's cute.
Yeah.
You can also just mop the house really fast. I've done that.
It's a vigorous mop.
A vigorous mop. A vigorous, proper mopping. I promise you'll think you're about
proper mopper. A proper mopper. She's a proper mopper. No, I like that part because the lady, when she was being overwhelmed and was like about to, she was about to get all weepy, and she was already in yoga pants. If she just went on a brisk run real quick, like 90-second dash, like out of the apartment, like she might have came back feeling calm and able to, do that. Let me guess. We got Isaiah Black here. That does say Black, right? Is that Block?
Yeah, sure that's Black. So,
hey, Rashawn and Bree, what is your favorite or personal fried chicken recipe? Now, new to the channel with the word Black in your name and in the fried chicken recipe, I'm getting the strong indication of a certain type of person here, but I don't have a fried chicken recipe. What about you, Bree?
I don't fry food.
Bree doesn't fry food, and I'm not a big fryer. I'm not a fryer. I will air fry some food. Now, I have air fried some chicken, but I don't do all the coating and all that. But thank you, Isaiah Black, for your question. It was very on topic. It really brought insight to the conversation. It shows that you had gleaned so much from the topic and the conversation and the videos that we shared today that you thought, God damn it, I got to ask about their fried chicken recipe because nothing is better than after a vigorous workout to bring down my stress levels than a piece of fried chicken because these people are Black. I get it. And I appreciate that you had that insight and that was your conclusion today. But hopefully you'll have something a little more clever, insightful, useful to say the next time you decide to pop in the chat. True. But people who are in shape have a lower stress response to stimuli. Okay. See, now that's on topic. That's how you do it, Mr. Black. Blackie. That's how you do it. That's how. On topic about what we're talking about.
So it's great. The people who need this, I guess, are the people who aren't in shape because they have higher stress response to stimuli. Well, I guess because I guess, okay, that makes sense. I was trying to make sure I was understanding the statement. People who are in shape have a lower stress response to stimuli,
so
which means they're probably not going to be going through what Dr. K is describing.
Right.
Is that okay? Is that the proper?
That would be the
proper.
Like if they have a lower stress response, they're not going to be as
in this constant
flooded with cortisol.
Got it.
And then they won't need to work vigorously to get that endorphin release or whatever.
Right.
Because again, they won't get as great of a release as somebody who I guess is out of shape because it's not as vigorous. I know if I ran down the stairs real quick and ran upstairs real quick, it's going to feel vigorous. But Greg running up and down the steps probably like, I did that 6 times already.
Right. So that's what Dr. K is saying. Like it takes away less actually if you're in shape to get to that level. Okay.
Yeah. Come on, Dr. K. I hit play now.
Dr. K stuck.
Yeah, he's
the really cool thing about that is that once we shut off our stress system, then something beautiful happens. Once we're no longer stressed out and our CRF level drops, then you will stop engaging in avoidance behaviors. Your cravings for avoidance will literally go shut down or decrease because our body is using endorphins to shut off CRF production. Once we shut off CRF production, our desire for cravings, distraction, and avoidance actually decreases, which then makes it more easier to actually do the task that is stressing you out in the first place. So if you're in a situation where the thought of opening up your email triggers a stress response, or sending a message to someone, or needing to cancel social plans, if you're stressed out about that, engage in as vigorous exercise as you can for as long as you can. It doesn't have to be long. And then you'll start to slow down, you'll start to stop avoiding things, and then you'll actually be able to focus on the task at hand and do something about it. And the beautiful thing is, as you do things about it, your overall global stress will start to get better because you have fewer things to be stressed out about. So the problem in today's society is that our stress system gets inappropriately activated by mental tasks. But our stress system is actually designed for physical survival. And the beautiful thing is that the stress system has a built-in off switch. The problem is the stresses that we deal with today don't actually shut off the off switch. Even if you think about completing the task, what does that do to your stress level? It's sort of a relief, but you don't actually feel fully relaxed afterward. And why is that? It's because when you complete the mental task, you're not recruiting the endorphin system. You're not recruiting your parasympathetic nervous system. You're not actually shutting off CRF production. So as soon as we're done with our task, what do we go back into? We give into cravings. So if you want to master your stress in today's society, you've got to recruit your stress system in the right way. So hopefully this is helpful. Give this a shot and kind of let us know, does this work for you?
Dr. K, let me see. Is he an MD? Dr. K, Healthy Gamer? Yeah. I don't know exactly what his...
he's a psychiatrist, though. It wouldn't be, he's definitely doctorate level. But I don't know exactly what his letters are. That's what I don't know. I don't know what the letters are behind his name.
MD, MPH. I don't know. MD, MPH.
Yes.
Medical doctor, MPH. I'm not sure.
He's psychiatry, so that means he can write you drugs. Okay. I'm like, he is a doctor, but he's psychiatrist. Yes. He's licensed. He's official. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dr. K just described why men like to smash. Great.
Stop it.
It's true.
What?
What is it about some vigorous smashing that does not fit what he just said? If you're stressed out,
you're mentally stressed out.
Vigorous smashing. It don't have to be that long. You just got to be breathing hard at the end of it.
Yeah. I don't know.
The boxes.
I don't think it does.
Boxes.
I think it's a totally different.
You don't have to actually be scared.
No, you don't have to be
it's just
scared.
Vigorous activity that's gonna have you breathing hard.
But again, he said like to the 50%, to the 70%. The more you, I don't know.
I just said vigorous.
I think it's a stretch.
I didn't say chill. I didn't say.
I think
chill. You could vigorously smash.
Sex is going to release a different set of chemicals. I don't.
It's still gonna release endorphins.
I think you're probably gonna release endorphins, but it probably won't trigger that stress response. It's probably not going to bring in the same systems.
He said vigorous activity.
He said vigorous, but Bree,
he didn't say you couldn't be happy and enjoy it either.
But Bree, now listen, how vigorous would sex have to be to get to that level? Because the only person I know
be as vigorous because it's naturally going to release those endorphins because of sex. Sex releases endorphins as well, right? Which triggers that same thing. So you do that with sex.
No, See, you're making an assumption. Just because endorphins are released, it's the part of that fight or flight. That's not necessarily the case. Endorphins can be released. Listen, the only person who is being vigorous, of course you're right. The only person who is being so vigorous as to recruit in their the sympathetic system. The parasympathetic nervous system is Yella, who said he wanted the person jumping from behind the door when they walk in. Like then you get in that response. I get your point.
It has to be as vigorous because sex naturally releases it. So you don't even really got to, but it's vigorous enough. You know what I mean? You work up a little sweat. And it's naturally going to release endorphins and the parasympathetic nervous system and all that.
But it's probably not doing all those other chemicals. Like, because again, I'm trying to tell you, okay.
It is.
I get you. Okay.
I'm making this up. It's true.
What I'm saying is, you may be leaving stress town, but you're not taking the same road out. I'm saying you're not taking the exact same road.
Oh no! I know. I don't.
You're still out of town.
Same road, but I think that I've heard. I believe men like to bust a nut to relieve stress.
Yeah,
with a partner specifically.
I believe there are multiple ways to get out of a stress response. I believe there are multiple ways to.
And why Dr. Kane say go bust a nut? Why he say that?
Well, because he's talking to a bunch of gamers. He's talking to a bunch of gamers. Who he also doesn't want to get addicted to porn and don't have as much access to sex
with a partner.
As everybody else. It's harder for a lot of these people. A healthy gamer. A lot of these people are talking about they can't find a partner.
I digress there. I agree. Yeah, he can't. He know his audience. I agree.
Yeah, he knows his audience.
He's like, y'all ain't got no. But I was just saying as he was explaining that just became apparent to me. Not that it's. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's, what he was, but I was obviously picking up on that as he was saying that. Like, yeah, I definitely think men are out here smashing the stress response away. If that's something that they have access to.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah. But there are a myriad of ways. If it's just about feeling pleasured to get out of the stress response, there are a lot of different ways out of that. But unfortunately, not all of them are effective, which is what he's trying to get people to an effective tool.
Yeah, but how
like he said, it retrains your body. So what?
I was thinking if I had to sprint across the house, I guess I could just run up the stairs real quick.
Yeah.
But I've lived in some houses
how many floors you got.
Yeah, I was like, I've lived in some houses where I'm like, I don't know if I can get that good of a sprint going.
Nah.
To do that.
Yeah. But see, maybe Greg. Maybe. Because I've had offices or cubicles and stuff like that where jerking off would have been simpler. Because running as a big black guy running through an office, that was definitely riskier for me. Definitely riskier.
I don't even think you can go outside the office and run really as a black man.
Yeah, it was suspicious.
Probably risky. They're gonna think you snatched somebody's purse or something, and now you're running, or you robbed somebody. I don't think that's really a safe move.
Not the safest move.
No. And other black people are also gonna start running.
Yeah, there's that. There's that.
if Rashawn got up from his cubicle and started sprinting towards
people are going to run with me.
Everybody
runs. Because I don't run. So if I'm running, there's a reason. Everybody knows. Because it's one of two things. Either they need to run too, or whatever I'm running to is so interesting that they need to go. Because they know I don't jump for everything.
Oh, I'm definitely running. I'm probably not even gonna ask. I'm just going because either way, like you said, either I'm safe or I get to see what you was running like a crazy person for. Mm-hmm. So I still win. It's a win-win, I think.
Just run. There's no reason not to run.
It's really none. I don't understand people who don't run. I don't understand the people who don't run when they see other people running. Like, what's the win here? That you didn't run?
That's a good point.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. I feel like some people need to prove that they're not a punk. Like, some people need to prove, like, y'all scared. Y'all don't know what y'all doing.
But
it's not pleasure, P.S. It can be a no lube shame fab. Still works. The physiological cascade caused by orgasm
would be stress.
Is a parasympathetic response.
I mean, that sounds stressful. It's just harming yourself. I would put that in self-harm, actually. Self-harm is not okay.
What, the no lube shame fab?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, and see, I think I'm going to assume that none of us are doctors, but I would, as a person who was just sitting here listening to conversations about the wall of awful, a no lube fame shap, though orgasmically you may get some releases of some chemicals, emotionally, it's not going to relieve that stress response because some people, like I know, I don't. This might be TMI. I don't enjoy fapping. I don't really enjoy it. Like I don't like eating out by myself. I don't like going to the movies by myself. Like that kind of stuff. I don't like it. It just, there's something to, like, mentally and emotionally about doing stuff alone that doesn't feel good. So even if that does release something, it's going to trigger some emotional state. Like, which the stress, okay, you might release some stress for a moment, but then I'm like, that's so sad. It was a no lube shame fap. It was a no lube shame fap. And I'm going to be ashamed.
I don't think going to the movies alone should be found in there.
I used to go to the movies by myself, but something along the line switched. I used to do stuff by myself all the time, but something, I don't even know when. I don't know when or some. I don't know, but doing stuff by myself, I don't like it. I just don't. Now, I wouldn't run. I would want to see what was chasing you. This is why my people died. Now, I used to, when I was younger, I used to test that. I don't even know why. I heard a comedian say something, but I used to, me and my friends, we would just like be somewhere and we would just take off running to see what happened. We would just take off running a dead sprint, just like run down the block.
Terrorist activities.
And sometimes people would run with us. Sometimes people would like start running, but be looking back like, what? Like, so it was always fun to see
for me, I'm one of those. I'm doing that jog next to you, looking back. Also asking, what are we running for? What are we running for? Knowing I'm not going to get an answer. So I'm that person, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, this was all helpful, useful things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that though. Next time I'm stressed, I'm just gonna run up the stairs real quick.
That's what's up.
Full speed, like
shit.
See what happens.
But I got one more Dr. K. It sounds like you was getting ready to ramp up the bail, but if you gotta go, that's cool. I'm gonna play this last Dr. K.
Yes, I have to cook dinner, so I'll be ready for game night.
All right, Bree.
So I'll catch
y'all. Talk to you later.
I will not hit end.
Please. Oh my God. You hit the back arrow. Boy. She got me. Ooh, she got me before. I'm only speaking on the physiological response. The same way, that's the same way the doctor was. Even if you run real fast, the stress will return when you calm down. I get you. Like I said, on the chemical side, that like when she say the endorphins and stuff release, I know that stuff happens. But I also know if you're talking about stress, depending on what the stress was, yeah, you did make it out. I just know there are multiple systems at work, and they might be all on the nervous system, but like the stimuli, what the point is, because like depending on what the stress is, maybe you're like, again, releasing the chemicals, but then maybe you're going to still have another stress response like immediately after, like as you're putting yourself, maybe you're setting yourself back. You got that release, but maybe you're even setting yourself further back. So then you have an even worse, because again, that wall of awful, maybe you have an even worse stress response because what you did just either set you back in time, set you back in, maybe you weren't supposed to be having sex, maybe like, so that's what I'm talking about. But I understood what you guys were saying. I did understand. I'm just saying long term, like they were talking about, no pun intended, when they were talking about busting through the wall, you guys are talking about busting through the wall. Like that's what you guys are talking about. And what I'm talking about is like the guy said, that's not a long-term strategy. Busting through the wall is effective, but it's not a long-term strategy. So that's kind of a better way to say it. Using the first video is a better way to say it. You guys are talking about busting through the wall, and I'm talking about we need to figure out a way to climb it more efficiently or take it down, not build up so many bricks.
How to successfully deal with feeling overwhelmed. And a lot of people think that if I'm overwhelmed, I need to overcome that feeling. I need to use strength or willpower or discipline to just get over it. And if I'm mentally stronger, I can conquer the feeling of being overwhelmed. As it turns out, you don't need to do that. And in fact, there's actually a really interesting way to unplug the feeling or disarm it or kind of make it go away on its own. In order to understand how to do that, we have to understand how the mind feels overwhelmed in the first place. And it may not be quite what you think. So the feeling of being overwhelmed comes from a relationship between passive challenges and active challenges. Now, what does that mean? So a passive challenge is something that you were challenged with that you did not choose. So when life throws you difficulties, those are passive challenges. And oftentimes, this is what makes us feel overwhelmed because there are too many things that are outside of our control. And when life is sending us a bunch of stuff that are outside of our control, we can't fix them. If we can't fix them, we feel overwhelmed. There's another kind of challenge, though, which is something called an active challenge. And an active challenge is a challenge that you choose to take. So if you set a goal for yourself and you decide to move towards it, that's an active challenge. Is it difficult? Yes, but you are choosing the difficulty.
But see, Greg, if you put a glory hole in, see, the first thing you did was bust through the wall, but then you have to bust through the wall to avoid eye contact and question who you did it with. It's like, that's like you have to bust through the wall twice in two different manners to get to your outcome here.
Now, here's the really key thing. What a lot of people think is that being overwhelmed is the sum of the challenges that you face. If I'm feeling more challenge or there are more things that I'm dealing with, I must feel overwhelmed. That is actually incorrect. Your mind feels overwhelmed when your passive challenges outweigh your active challenges. So another way to kind of think about that is when you are dealing with more things that you chose not to deal with, as opposed to the things that you chose to deal with, this is when you feel overwhelmed.
Now this is the one I knew, like the second video talked about kind of changing your feelings, like changing your settings, playing music, trying to affect your mood and your emotions. The last one, he talked about your physical responses, like just get up and run. Like you need to recruit your systems to make, when you're having that fight or flight stress, you need to trigger your physical body to elicit those responses so that it brings itself down on its own. So that's the physical side. Now, this is the thinking side. And this is where I spend a lot of my time because it's true. I end up feeling powerless a lot because a lot of the things in my life are still out of my control. And I have more things that are out of my control than are in my control. So I end up in this one. I have busted through the wall way more than twice.
It's not the total sum of challenge. It's, are you dealing with more things that you chose to deal with or things that you didn't choose to deal with? I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Milanote. As a psychiatrist, it's incredibly important for me to stay organized, not only for my patients, but also for channel my creativity, images from the internet, notes. It's also really cool that templates that make it everywhere that I want it to be. There's a desktop app for it. There's a mobile app for it. So even when I'm browsing, I get into Milanote. And the best part, in the description below, and get started with your next creative project with Milanote today. Now, this can seem kind of confusing because it sort of feels like, okay, well, if life is throwing me lots of stuff, I can't choose to take on other challenges. Like, I'm not going to take on other problems if I can't deal with the problems that I have already.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Enya. Thank you. So what I was saying, this is one of the things I've been dealing with is the active versus the passive. When I talked yesterday, I'm unmuted. Oh, mute. I should mute now. You want me to mute? Okay, I'll go back mute. Okay, now I'm unmuted. Now I know there might be a delay. I should be unmuted now. And I'm going to resume. The other day when I talked about going to therapy, this is kind of where I was. Because I talked about not wanting to take on the burden of like the work, the emotional labor of maintaining relationships. Like that's an active challenge. Like dealing with somebody, learning what they like, what they don't like, all that good stuff. That's an active challenge. And I have to choose to do that. But there's so many things that are out of control in my life that I don't feel like I have the emotional bandwidth to take on like building and maintaining a lot of friendships or other types of relationships. I just don't feel like I have it in me because I get overwhelmed way too often. I know I gave that analogy, like I feel like I'm just above water most of the time and any new thing takes me here. So I think in some kind of, I have to somehow increase my capacity so that I have fewer things that I feel are out of control. But like what I was saying while I was muted was like, even now, my rental office, I'm like, these people are some assholes. Like we're about to go into our 5th web portal. And right now they are finally trying to push us out. Like they keep pushing stuff. They just did that. Remember that 52% rate increase at this last, and I didn't even get really 30 days. And I wasn't trying to move in 30 days. So I was like, crap, I'm gonna just go ahead and take the hit and pay that extra money. But 52% rent increase. Now they're trying to force it. They got a brand new web portal, and I'm venting. Brand new web portal, and it's like the 5th web portal. This one, though, they're going to stop taking paper checks or money orders. They're going to stop taking that so that they force you through the web portal to make payments, which, of course, they've always had some really exorbitant processing fee for it. I'm like, we're about to have a problem because like they're pushing me, y'all. They're pushing me, and I'm like this close. I'm like this close. And I'm saying this on the record, so it'll keep me from actually doing it. I'm like this close from setting the rental office on fire during office hours. I'm this close. But because again, I've said this on video, I'll never do it. And if the rental office here does catch fire, I promise it was not me. Okay. I think all stress comes from things being out of your control. If you can control it, there's no reason to stress over it. I'm not saying that the reason for stress is out of your control. It's that you chose. Like if I choose to get into it, if I choose to date, if I choose to go on a date, I can't control the date. I can't control the date, but I will have stress, but I chose that path to stress. So this is something I've talked to people about before, especially my nephew. If you have the option to choose what your stress is, it's better than somebody else choosing for you. Like it's just mentally, emotionally. If I have something to do with my day, would you rather your employer tell you what to do with your day? Or would you rather you tell you what to do with your day? If somebody else is telling you what to do with your day, it's always more stressful than you choosing what, because even you have that sunk cost fallacy. You have that thing, well, I invested my time out of my own volition. I chose to put my time here. It's easier for you to cope with emotionally. I don't think everybody has the same need and emotional processing. I don't think everybody deals with it the same way, but this is for the people that do. If you choose what you're doing, it's a lot easier especially for me to cope with. Even if it's something I don't want to do, if I chose it, It's a lot easier to deal with than somebody telling me what I got to do. And like, I don't have a choice. Are you playing charades? My apartment charged $75 for a processing fee, which could only be paid through the portal. I'm about to check and see if that's legal, man, because I promise you, right after a 52% rent increase, and then you're going to try to push me into a portal to take payment that you know there's a processing fee on. I promise you, I'm really close to. I'm starting. Anyway, I'll let that go. Anything dealing with other people is at least in part a passive challenge. You can't control other people. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But he's talking about a challenge. Active challenge is something that you chose to. You chose to take on that challenge. So I get what you're saying. The person is a passive challenge, but choosing to engage with that person is an active challenge. But again, I understand your point.
Which is exactly the problem. When we do that, when we give up our active challenges, then the ratio of passive challenges to active challenges actually goes up. We have way more passive challenges because we're cutting out things that we want.
And crap. I think he's getting ready to say I'm working backwards. I'm hustling backwards. Because I keep cutting off the active challenges, I actually end up overwhelming myself with passive challenges because I take out all of the ones that are active, thinking it's saving me emotional bandwidth. I really hope he doesn't say that. It's been a while since I watched that. I think he is using the word challenge as something that requires effort. Like learning guitar is hard, but not stressful because you are choosing to do the work. Yes, because you're going to expend labor. Whatever you're doing, you're going to expend labor to do it. I mean, other than like doing nothing. Like if you take on a task or a challenge or a hobby, there's effort involved into it. There's effort. So which effort do you want? The one that you chose or the one that somebody else chose for you? The one imposed or the chose versus imposed? Like that's the math. Chose versus imposed.
Actually reinforces the feeling of overwhelmed, and this is how we end up getting stuck. And so we sort of discovered that the solution to this may seem completely counterintuitive, which is to actually increase the number of active challenges.
Oh, I was hoping he wasn't going to say that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Which means hashtag Bree was right again. She said something a while back. About you have to. It was in a dating. I can't remember which conversation specifically, but it's about creating. I think it was about people like partners that are very needy and clingy, and that demand a lot of the other person's time. I think it was about that. You have to create a robust life of your own friends, your own hobbies, that you're independent of the other person. But that also, according to him, you have enough of a life of your own that it counterbalances the negativity of the stuff that you have weighing on you. Ooh, I knew he was going to say I was hustling backwards. This bastard. This cheeky bastard.
Challenges in your life. And if you're skeptical of that, it makes perfect sense because it is counterintuitive. But there's actually really good data to back this up. And we kind of discovered this principle in the most bizarre place, which is with eating disorders. And you may start to wonder, okay, what does that have to do with anything that we're talking about? So clinicians made a really interesting observation that the more out of control someone's life is, the more disordered their eating becomes. So if you take someone with an eating disorder and you hospitalize them against their will, and you sort of, let's say they get hospitalized for an addiction problem, what you'll sort of find is that now that I can't control my usage, my eating disorders actually get worse. Another situation is that when people with eating disorders get into a emotionally neglectful situation or their parents are very controlling, their disordered eating gets worse. And as we worked with these people, what we sort of discovered is as they lose control in other parts of their life, what they do to avoid feeling overwhelmed is to start to really control their eating. So they make that challenge of eating so great that it gives them a sense of control in life, and it sort of protects against the feeling of being overwhelmed. And so we kind of discovered something really interesting. And this also kind of explains why disordered eating is so bad. The more out of control my life becomes, the more difficult the challenge that I put on myself. The more I'm going to eat like 2 leaves of lettuce, and I'm going to eat very few calories, and I'm going to torture myself. But even though the challenge becomes harder and harder and harder, it gives me a sense of control and counteracts the feeling of overwhelm.
Oh my God. It's like a therapy. So I know I watched this video before, but man, it's hitting me different. What I do though, I know I overeat, but what I actually try to control, to feel control of, is my time. I try to like I said, when I feel overwhelmed, I constrict my time and control my time. Like I've been feeling overwhelmed lately, which is why I've been streaming less. I've been controlling my time to make it things that I really wanted to do and enjoyed and felt would fulfill me. So like I've been constricting my time down to where I really got. That's crazy. So I get strict with my time, which I talked about time earlier today. Like I value my time. So that's the area and domain where I try to exert absolute control when I feel like my life is out of control. That's crazy. Oh man, that sucks. Oh, that sucks.
Overwhelmed. And it's not only in eating disorders that we've sort of discovered this. We kind of have applied this to treatments for depression. So there's a treatment for depression called behavioral activation. And the way that this works is kind of like, okay, I'm depressed because there are all these things that I can't control, right? People don't like me. I don't have a job. I don't have a romantic partner. I have no prospects in life. And so we kind of feel like, okay, I can't fix all these problems, so I'm depressed. And so what clinicians actually figured out is we can do something called behavioral activation, which is we have to get this person to challenge themselves in any tiny minor way. And if they can start to activate their behavior and challenge themselves in some way, I'm going to get up, I'm going to clean the dishes, I'm going to do my laundry, that somehow that helps them gain control of their life and actually causes the depression to go into remission. And this doesn't make any cognitive sense, right? Let's acknowledge that for a second. Because if you're in the mind of that depressed person and you're thinking to yourself, doing the dishes doesn't make a difference because I'm alone, I don't have a job, or I'm in a dead-end job. Doing the dishes doesn't actually fix those problems. And so that's the reason that we don't do the dishes in the first place. But what we sort of have figured out scientifically is that by doing the dishes, by fixing problems that are not the problems that overwhelm us, it actually makes us feel less overwhelmed. Now I'm taking control over my life. And this becomes really, really important because once I stop feeling overwhelmed, then I can start to tackle those other problems. And this is also something that we really have to tunnel down into for a second. Let's just play this tape through. There are things outside of my control. I don't have any control in life. Therefore, I feel overwhelmed. If I feel overwhelmed, how capable do you think I am at tackling those problems? Being overwhelmed in the first place hamstrings us because our mind is telling us all the time, you can't fix this. This is out of your control. This problem is too big. This problem is too big. This problem is too big. And so this is where being overwhelmed becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, where once our passive challenges rise and we start to feel overwhelmed, then we engage in avoidance behaviors and the cycle repeats itself. So interestingly enough, the answer to that problem is actually unplugging the feeling of being overwhelmed. And the way that we stop feeling overwhelmed is to actually increase our challenge in a completely unrelated area. And once we increase our challenges in a completely unrelated area, we increase those active challenges. As we increase those active challenges and we start to work on those things, our mindset changes. Now we feel confident in ourselves. We feel in control. And now those very same problems that used to feel overwhelming, now we have the confidence to deal with them. And so it sounds really bizarre and counterintuitive, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, you don't actually need to fix the problems that make you feel overwhelmed. Because oftentimes those problems are completely out of your control. What you actually need to do is pick a completely different set of problems, but you need to pick it. And as you start to work on those, you'll see a cognitive shift because literally the equation in your mind is if active challenges outweigh passive challenges, I feel in control. But if passive challenges outweigh active challenges, then I feel overwhelmed and I'm unable to take action. So you don't need to conquer the feeling of overwhelmed at all. You just need to disarm it or unplug it by paradoxically taking on different challenges.
Other challenges. That's crazy. That's crazy. I thought I watched that before. Oh my God. Oh my God, guys, that sucks. Oh, that sucks balls. Hairy, sweaty, stank balls. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I'm going to have to do more. Why? Why would I want to do more? I'm going to have to do more to get over the feeling of what? Oh, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I increased my challenges in a different area of my life, and I got some really good results. I'm so happy. I'm disgusted with Dr. K for even saying what he just said. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. And for some reason, I knew when he started down that path about that ratio, I knew it was going to be very unfavorable for me. So I need to find some challenges that I choose. Just got out of class. Class already started this early in August. It's not even Labor Day. Man, I thought colleges let y'all get off till Labor Day. I'm sorry, man. What's up? What's up? Yeah, just about to wrap up too. The Quantum just finished cooking. You just getting here, and I'm just finishing. That was my last video that I was actually gonna play because the psych one actually talked about emotion, so I didn't need to play this one from Jordan Peterson. I just attribute all of my passive challenges to God laughing at me. He's having a great time. I get that. Because see, I kind of look at it the same way in a weird way. I kind of do believe that the passive challenges, the ones that are beyond your control, do allow you the opportunity for growth because you currently don't feel equipped. See what I'm saying? It's people like this. It's people like this guy here. It's people like this guy. And because I haven't heard this in such a time, I haven't been on Twitch like this, guys. So my bad. Y'all about to I haven't heard this in a while. And I kind of miss some of my redemptions. I kind of miss some of these Twitch redemptions. I don't know what I did with there it is.
Link.
Initiate link.
Link right now, Link.
If he drops it, shoot it.
Drop it! Drop it now!
Drop.
Link?
You.
You can click on that link.
The link.
Or don't click it.
Do not click on that link on my behalf.
Hear that? Click, 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 click.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Hey, guys, listen to me. Do not click the link. Do not click the link. You hear me? Click the fucking link, dude.
Link!
It's been so long. It's been so long since we've been on Twitch and with the redemptions. Oh my gosh, I miss it a little bit. I gotta do a bunch of work, man. I messed up my computer. It's bad. It's all bad. It's all bad. But maybe that's a challenge that I need to take. Maybe I need to take on the challenge of getting everything back to the way I had it. That'll be one challenge that I can take on. Boom. That'll be one. Challenges are opportunities. Face them and become the master. See, that's one. I can get my OBS and stuff set up again and get that working. That'll be one challenge. Maybe you need to download more RAM from Google, says the sheep. Your brain needs to feel like it can exert control over your environment. Otherwise, your sympathetic nervous system is always on alert. Great advice, Nova. Download more RAM from... Oh, that wasn't a joke? Download more RAM from Google? You said great advice. But you didn't add any laughing or anything. Is there something I don't know? Okay, now I feel stupid. Wait, it was just 3 terabytes of hardcore interracial. You lied to me. Matthew 6:33. I'm not looking up the Bible right now. I'm not. But I am willing to consider that. I need to take on more challenges that I chose because I did what he said. I did the thing. I started culling. I started clipping away active challenges. I started removing active challenges from my life, thinking that it would give me the emotional capacity to deal with the passive challenges. He's saying that's counterintuitive, but I need to maintain or even add to my active challenges so that they overwhelm that response or cut out that response. That's crazy. Man, That's crazy. That was a challenge. I failed. See, I'm gonna keep failing. I'm gonna just fail. And you know what? I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care at all. I'm just gonna fail that challenge. So my personal challenge will be to take on some challenges, and I guess I don't even know if you have to pass the challenges. I don't even know if you have to do good. I don't know. He didn't really go into that, did he? Do you have to succeed at all of the challenges, or do you just have to take them on? They said you build confidence. On building confidence, I'm assuming you're succeeding. Or is it the confidence of knowing that you took on the challenge and whether you failed or not, you still survived? I don't know. He didn't really articulate that to its fullest, but I guess, I don't know. Dang it. I'm going to have to take on some challenges and see. I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to take on some things and see if it works. That sucks, guys. That sucks. I don't like that. I've been crafting a narrative that I'm trying to, I've created a narrative in my mind that I'm trying to save time and energy so that I can have it for the things that really matter. But man, that's interesting. Maybe it's for you to decide in the end. In the same way you can trick your stress response by running, from your body's perspective, stress is stress. I think it's time to play the Yoda clip. It is. I think I need to hear it because I feel like I am asphyxiating. Where did I put it? Hard to breathe when the booty asphyxiates. It is. Push past hardship, you must. Thank you, No. Appreciate that.
Damn. She live in a goddamn submarine, I think.
We only have one button. That's it. It should be like an elevator.
I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf components.
I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Asphyxiate, you will. Yes. I've been asphyxiating. It's been terrible. I feel like I imploded on the Titan sub. It's terrible. I went down like the Titanic from the challenges in my life. I must be more active in my challenges. If you're getting stressed from uncontrolled things in your environment, your brain. Yeah, and that's exactly what it feels like. That's the funny thing. That's exactly what it feels like. And it feels like, I'm gonna tell you in my language, it feels like getting punked. It feels like getting punked. Like I'm constantly getting punked by all the things that I can't change and control. But so I was like, okay, that overwhelms me. So let me cut out the things that I can control. Let me just cut those out because they just take up too much time and energy. But he's saying to keep doing the things that take up time and energy, and it gives you. I'm gonna try it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to write down. I'm gonna write down 3 things. I'm gonna try to write down 3 things, 3 challenges that are active. Try to take those on and see if it changes the way I feel about things. I'll check back with y'all, and I have to let my new therapist know, and maybe we could work on that. So we'll see. But I'm getting ready to head out, guys. We will be back here in about 1 hour and 20 minutes here from Barcade. So we'll be having a game night tonight. Yellow will be running it. I may or may not be participating because somebody had to drop out. So I may not be. Now listen, it'll be more fun if I get to participate. I am blowing it up. If I get to participate in the game because I know most of the answers, I'm going to act like a wild card. I am going to sabotage people. I am going to feed people the wrong answers. I'm going to do everything I can to make everything run chaotically, which I know Yellow doesn't want. Because Yellow wants the games to go the way the games will go. But I just feel like I just need to introduce an element of chaos to the games tonight. So 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, we will be here for Barcade. I'll probably be back again 1 or 2 more times this week because there's a couple of messages that popped up that I wanted to get out. Today was one of them because I brought up that lady about being overwhelmed. That lady. I brought her up. And let me see. I brought her up and I wanted to because I had a couple of offline conversations with people that I was like, I really want to, because I had that stream about this wall of awful, and I'm glad I actually did this today because I needed to hear that last one. Possibly, like he said, you may be skeptical. I am skeptical, but I'm game for a challenge. I'm game for a challenge. So, so tonight, Barcade, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back probably tomorrow. I'll probably be back tomorrow and Friday because there's 2 other streams I want to do, and I want to get them out the way. Me and Bree will be back on Monday at 5. There's 2 other streams I want to get done, but I gotta put some work into them. Well, one of them I definitely gotta put work into. I gotta read. I gotta do some stuff. So I'll probably be back tomorrow. But if I'm not here tomorrow, I'll be back Friday. If I'm not here tomorrow, I'll be back on Friday and Friday and Monday. So tonight at 8 p.m. Friday, I don't have a time yet. There might be a pop-up like this one. And then Monday, 5 p.m. again, Eastern. So I will see y'all next time. I hope y'all have a good day. I didn't run an intro. But man, I think because Greg talked about glory holes and, needing that release because it does lead to the same parasympathetic response in your nervous system.
Are you ready?
I'm gonna come.
Do not come.
I'm gonna do it. And her mother and father are screaming, "You got it. You got it, darling. I'm so proud of my girl." Well, she couldn't do it. People were amazed. These gentlemen, everybody was amazed that I did it.